Hey gang, Will here from the Ashland Fly Shop with a fishing report for you for November 6, 2019. Here we go. All right, so we're going to kick it off in our own backyard here, talk about the Rogue River, give you a little bit insight of what's going on here as we move into November. We love November. We love November as locals. We kind of refer to it as the secret season. It's a real shift in kind of pressure we see on the river a bit. We're actually always kind of trying to get more people to fish in November and book guide days. And we have been seeing that the first 10 days or so, but it really drops off, and we really see the pressure drop off in November. And there still can be some really good fishing. And sometimes, some years, we even really get some really good shots of fish going into later in the year. And I always expect to see more fish through November and December, part of the fall run, as we get to that kind of end of the year. And I feel like we've been seeing that. So what we've got going on here is we have a very stagnant, high pressure weather pattern over us, and it's absolutely awful. It's just the kind of situation that we get into. I think it's been a couple years. Last year, I think we had some good storm systems come through this time of year. We've actually had some really good weather leading up to this fall, like even into September and stuff. We had some good weather, but we're kind of paying for it now with a big, long stretch of high pressure, low water, and it's just really, it really takes its toll on the fishing and the fishery. The fish get really stagnant, they get really stale. I mean, we still see fish come up. We still see fish migrating up, and we're still seeing some fresh fish here and there, but not in the groups that we would be seeing if we were getting shots of precipitation, shots of warmer water to really get those fish moving. So pretty stagnant out there, and you've really got to adjust tactics. And I've said this the last couple of reports, but if you're a nymph guy, like this is it. This is what you live for, man. Low water, you can ambush those fish. Sitting down on ledges, they're really hunkered down. They're really kind of spooked and tucked into these little spots and just waiting for rain and waiting for the smell of these tributaries to kind of open up so they can move into them and get on with their business, what they're here to do. So yeah, if you nymph fish, you can and you really know where these fish live, you can really get on them. So if that's if that's your approach to fishing, there you probably can still find some pretty good fishing out there and have multiple fish days and stuff on the Rogue. It's low and clear. It's 900 CFS, I think, or 890 coming out of the dam, which is about as low as we see it. 1300 at Dodge. That equates to very low temperatures in the river. In that kind of 40-degree range. I think we were looking at it today in kind of that mid-40s. Probably seeing it tick up a little bit later in the day, lower down in the Tuvelle Park area and as the river goes down, and certainly down into the Grants Pass area. But very cold water. So if you're swinging flies, this is absolutely sink tip time. You really have to get something on there, and you might even, if you're fishing like a moderate-sized intruder, on like a T11 or even a T14, you might even play around with, bumping that fly up a bit to something more in the 3-inch range. Just really got to get their attention at this point if you're swinging flies, and you really got to probe like right into where they live. So that's just really where we're at, and not much of an end in sight. Sometimes when these ridges sit on us, they just really hunker down. So we're looking out about 7 days. We don't really see much, hoping maybe next week, late next week, that this might break up a bit, but we've definitely seen this pattern before. We've definitely seen it last quite a while. So if you're nymph fishing, all the usual suspects, Agent Orange flies, hothead stones, regular stones, beadhead stones, all that stuff. Red carper johns as a dropper, egg flies, things like that are all going to be good. Small princes, things like that. Swinging flies, you're looking at, mini intruders, possibly going up into like a larger signature intruder or something like that to get their attention. Slight regulation change from the dam down to Shady Cove. It is now open for bait. you know, in that stretch there from the hatchery down to Shady Cove. It's open for all methods. Down below Shady Cove, it's still flies only in that section, I think, till the beginning of the year. So, so still a ways to go there. That section's really pretty sweet now. It starts to get pretty quiet. It could be some very, very nice fishing. So, still a good time to go out and check it out. We're just hoping to see this weather pattern break up. Let's talk about the holy water a little bit. If you're looking for an alternate to steelhead fishing in the region, maybe you're here for a few days and you just want to mix it up or something, definitely consider going up to the holy water this time of year. This is a really good time to fish streamers up there for trout, and the fish can be really aggressive this time of year. And it can just be a lot of fun. If you're on to the trout space stuff, we really love fishing those methods up there this time of year. The fish are going to be a little bit more active than we might see the steelhead, although the water is going to be very cold. So, you know, I would really look at streamer techniques first and foremost up there. We really like little white streamers, things like that. But olive and black and things like that work good. Try a variety of sizes. Sometimes they want really small stuff. Sometimes the bigger fish will just attack, you know, big rabbit strip things and stuff like that. So I would take a look at that. You very well might see some dry fly fishing later in the evening, afternoon, especially on these kind of warmer afternoons. And then nymphing, as I always say, it hasn't been real productive for me personally, but I do have customers that do pretty well nymphing. So, so you could give that a try as well. But take a look at the holy water. Really easy to get around up there now, and you could find some good fishing for some really nice fish up there. So the Klamath, really been no secret this year. It's really been great fishing down there. I was kind of surprised last year how well it fished, and this year we just right off the bat, you know, we had really good fishing on the Klamath, you know, pretty much through the whole system, and we're kind of still seeing that. It's spreading out a little bit. Fish are kind of spreading out, coming in groups and kind of spreading out. The flows are actually pretty good. Sometimes we'll see the flows down around 1,000 coming out of Iron Gate at this time of year, but they're actually up around 1,300, which is great. So that's a little more water for the fish to move on. So we are looking for steelhead down there, and I think we're still going to see, you know, this is really kind of a peak time to be there, especially around the I-5 area and the, you know, the drift below the dam. This can be a very, very good time. So that equates to kind of that whole upper section, you know, around I-5 and down, down from there, you know, for several miles. So the whole river is really kind of in play now. You know, we really saw a period of time when that, you know, kind of Syad and Happy Camp area was just on fire, and that's sort of crested now, but I still think that would be a great place to be. So the Klamath for the next couple months, actually few months, should continue to be really good fishing down there. It's a really nice place to go and explore, poke around in some runs. I would be fishing sinking tips at this point. Still looking at probably T8, maybe T11 for some of the deeper spots, but you don't really need to get into T14, I think. Water temps should be a little bit better than the Rogue, especially with the length of the Klamath. So T8, T11 at the most, moderate size flies, mini intruders, and even smaller. Those can work very, very well down there. You know, darker colors, buggy colors, purples, blacks, olives, a lot of nice colors like that down there. So the Klamath is really high on our list right now. So a lot of transitioning fisheries as we go into this later season. Some things that we look forward to, Northern California, we love to fish the Upper Sacramento later in the season and going into winter. So I would imagine that transition has almost occurred at this point, that the fish are really shifting around in there. We're going to see those fish more in the deeper kind of slots and runs and stuff like that. Really, I'm sure it's almost 100% nymphing game at this point. Might see some light bluing olive hatches or something, but you just don't see those fish in those lies like you do in the spring and early summer. So really a nymphing game, but the Upper Sac is open all year. It's really worth heading down and exploring in the winter time and late fall, especially when it's this kind of weather. It can be really nice down there, really low water. McCloud closes on the 15th, so get your licks in. Looks like it's been another pretty good season down there, I would say, from what I'm seeing and some reports that we've been getting. So McCloud kind of sticks with what we've heard about the Upper Sacramento. Also a great time to fish October caddis. I failed to mention that in the talking about the Upper Sac, but October caddis can be a really, really strong late hatch for both of these systems. The McCloud, see the fish get on that bug a little bit stronger this time of year than the Upper Sac. Upper Sac seems like it's almost later, but that bug should be out in force and probably has been out for a little while. So take some large October caddis down there along with your streamers and your nymphs on the McCloud. All right, so that's what we're seeing in our region. That's what we're doing. That's where we're fishing, and we always really appreciate you checking in with our fishing reports. If you have any follow-up questions or want more specific information, feel free to give us a call. So get out there, have some fun while this weather holds, and be safe. Have a great time, and thanks for watching. We'll talk to you soon.